Hey there, coin lovers. Scott here, and hope everybody had a wonderful and romantic Valentine's Day weekend. Uh, Mrs. Hoogie and I certainly did. There was a pretty good sized coin show just up the road, and we went up to Spartanburg and checked it out. And we had a great time there. But for Valentine's Day, of course, Mrs. Hoogie knows me, and she knows what to get me as a gift. She gave me this thing, Mercury dime with the overdate. Yeah, apparently in 19,412 we're going to have some really cool coins. That one there, we had spotted it at the local coin shop, and they made a big deal about how somebody just bought it right up when we didn't get it. But alas, Mrs. Hoogie had it all along, and Valentine's Day came. And that was her gift to me. Also, our little romantic getaway to the coin show was also part of the Valentine's Day extravaganza. Now, for her gift, one of the things anyway that I gave to her was this baby. This is certified MS-64. It is the Columbia commemorative. It says 1936. It's one of those commemorative half dollars. And the story on this was when Mrs. Hoogie's dad was alive, he was having me round up some coins for him. And this is one of the only ones I didn't manage to get a hold of before he passed away. But nonetheless, Mrs. Hoogie does have one. Here we have, that's not Lady Liberty, that is Justice. Justice, you see, has got her scales and her sword. She probably should have steel-toed shoes on with that sword, but no. And looks like the third party graders got this one wrong, because there's an S mint right there below her feet. And you might remember up here at the label, they have it listed as a Philly. There is no S on that 1936. Well, it's just as well, because they're the exact same price and book value anyway. So there's the coin. That building on the right is our current State House. It was built just after the Civil War. And the one on the left was the original courthouse in Columbia. Columbia's had state houses. Columbia's had two state houses. That one was, of course, burned by General Sherman's troops back in 1865. Here we go. Palmetto tree for the Palmetto State. E pluribus unum. And some random pieces of wood at the base of the tree. And I think this may be fasces on behind there, kind of sticking out at angles, but whatever the case, there you have it. Recent addition to the Hoogie Hoard, this one for Mrs. Hoogie's side of the Hoogie Hoard. Now, we went up, like I said, we went up to Spartanburg, and it was the upstate coin show. We live in the middle of South Carolina, right here at the very base of the mighty double earthen dam of Lake Murray. And so we're in the Midlands. That was the upstate show, about 100 miles away to Spartanburg. And one of the coins I was looking for, of course, is a Morgan. And there's not many Morgans left to collect in the Hoogie Hoard, but one of the ones I didn't have, and I have been looking for quite a bit, is up here. This one, okay, it's certified 1900S. This one I got at MS-63. It's an NGC holder, and we take a look at it, and it's just a beauty. What you would expect from a 1900S mint coin, you know, in high grade. So, and it looks, believe me, I'll show you on camera, it looks better there than it does this at this high resolution, and it doesn't want to even show because my stuff is all in the way. Show that date on there. Let's see if we can move these. There you go. 1900, and it is the S. Now, the thing about 1900S, I talked with one fellow about some of this while we were there. He said to be sure you get a well-struck 1900S, because many of them are really, really weak. The reason for that is it was the first year, particularly on the reverse, it was the first year of what they call the C4 reverse. Now the reverses are alphabetical. The original 8 tail feathers one, it was the A reverse. The next one was the B reverse, and then came the C reverse. Well, there was C 1, 2, 3. There were subsections of C, and when 1900 came around, they started with the C4. Well, C4 reverse is notoriously, this one is not, but many of the C4 reverses are notoriously weak, right here on the eagle's breast and up here on his neck, up in here. But this one is actually pretty good. You can see very good feather detail. You can see pretty good detail on his talons, feet, and tail, so forth. The wings are certainly looking good, and everything else is the way it should be on this one. So this one made the cut. The S is, ironically, the S is kind of weak on this one. But yeah, this one made it into the Hoogie Hoard. I actually traded for this coin here. And take a good look at the obverse, because they are notoriously weak also with the 1900S. This one looks to be in a very good strike. You can see down there where the bear claw is. When I say the bear claw, I mean just once again, not ready. Okay, if you look just above the last digit, go north of there, that's the bear claw. And that one, you can see all kinds of detail. You can see the definition between the claws of the bear claw on this one. So, just one little thing. You can also look at the cotton bolls. Cotton bolls up here, nice and textured. They have all kinds of detail on them. The leaves around the cotton bolls, those are cotton leaves, by the way, all look very sharply struck, full detail, lots of veins and various details around the leaves. And the hair, even the hair looks to be generally fully struck. There's a touch of weak around the ear. There's a touch of weak just up in the hairline area, up in there, above that funny little curl that hangs down on her forehead. Those are high points, and those are the last parts of the die to fill with silver when that thing is struck. Okay, so that one came in at MS63, and I think it's absolutely correct. All right, here's one, the exact same year, 1900S, PCGS this time, different third party graders, AU58, and look at this one. I think this may be one of those weak struck coins, because for it to grade out at AU58, I see pretty decent detail, a lot of it, except for at the high points. Check out the hair around the ear, the hair again just above that little curl on Anna Willis's forehead. All of that hair looks to me a little bit flat, but it doesn't look like it's dull and abraded or worn away. It looks like it just never was there. it looks to be the same. If you look at it in hand, it has very much the same kind of luster that the rest of the whole coin has. So I believe this one has been penalized by the third party graders as a AU58, even though it doesn't really have the wear. Look at the reverse, and I would expect to see on that some of that symptoms of that C4 syndrome. We talked about the C4 reverse. It's made from the C4 hub. Look at how flat and lifeless those feathers are, particularly up here close to where his collar would be. And that whole side of the eagle's neck, to me, is just weak. It's not worn away. It's not a different color than anything else. If you look at it in hand, even with a high-powered loop, I don't see wear or any sort of damage to it at all. Now, when I turn like this, you can see a little better feather detail on the eagle's breast. And that's the way the C4 is, by the way. You start moving it around, you can start seeing the detail that you otherwise don't see. There's your S mint mark. It's a larger S. And rest of the coin, it looks fine. Take a look at it in person. Let's see if this camera will show anything. You can see it has pretty good luster all over the coin. Even for me, I can get it to do a little cartwheel stuff. But it's AU58, and well, I really don't think it's worthwhile to crack this thing out and send it in again, just because it's not fully struck, and it's probably going to get the exact same grade. But that is the book on these 1900 S's. That many of them are just weak. Let's see if we can do anything with this. Yeah, my camera up here doesn't help the situation because it's not sharp enough. But anyway, you can a little bit see some of the flatness of that strike compared to the deepness of that one. There you go. And anyway, that's the 1900 S Morgan dollar. And you say, Hoagie, we're getting bored. Well, it's time for a little break. There you have it. And folks, when I was in Spartanburg, I heard a story. Now, most of us know that the tough key date for the Morgan series is the 1895 proof, Philly proof. And there was like less than, I don't know, like 800 of them made or 900 of them made. And so they're pretty darn rare. And I met a man from Chattanooga who was a really good coin man. He had a specimen, certified specimen of the 1895 Philly proof right there in his case. And so, yeah, after I cleaned the drool off of it, and he told me this story about he had this was just a year or so ago. He had a customer with very deep pockets who came in and he bought a 1895 proof Morgan. He also bought a high grade 1893S Morgan, and he was happy as he could be. He got his coins, he got in his car, and he left, and he got in a terrible car accident. He almost died in the wreck. And they took him to the hospital, and then his car got towed away. Well, when he was better again, he almost died. When he was better again, he started to wonder, well, what happened to my car? What happened to my coins? I had some serious cash, probably $100,000 worth of coins in that car. Well, the car had been crushed by then. And so, if we had maybe however many coins there are of the 1895, there's one less because it got destroyed, no doubt, by the car crusher and that weird pulverizing machine. So the moral of the story is, folks, although you may be really excited about your new coins, do, as Charlie said, do drive safely on your way home. Anyway, this has been the part of the show about nothing. So, we had a great time up at the Spartanburg show. It's the SCNA, the South Carolina Numismatics Association, that puts it on. And they do a show in Columbia too, a little closer to home for us. Now, there is one more story that I want to tell you guys, and this came from the SCNA publication. It's called the Scanner. And tell you, coin people are sick. You know that? We really are. Here's a story from 1906. It's printed here in the Scanner, from Alameda, California. And in September of 1906, Alameda had it tough. I mean, they had an earthquake, they had a tsunami, which of course is related to the earthquake. Tsunami is just a tidal wave, and a big fire. So at least 3,000 citizens were dead or presumed dead, and it would take another 4 years before the area would recover from the destruction. Pardon me. Now, here's a letter from a fellow named A. Edgerly, and he was writing to a coin dealer, one of the few in the country, in Philadelphia. He was writing to S.H. Chapman on a postcard. And it says, "Dear Sir, we all went through a terrible experience in the earthquake and fire of April 18. 2/3 of the city in ashes. We lost our store, home, and 8 flats in the Mission District. We had to pass through what perhaps 200,000 did, and are now located in this small town opposite San Francisco." Now, Alameda is about 14 miles across the bay from San Francisco. Could you send me several Napoleon medals, not over the size of $1, and with his head not too expensive? Also, 2 new franc pieces with his profile, Napoleon, Emperor, or the other Republic, France, about 1808. Very respectfully, A. Edgerly. And so, in spite of all of the troubles and disaster, here this guy, he still wanted his coins, man. So hats off to you, A. Edgerly. You are a coin man. And anyway, you folks, just keep that in mind when you're moving around. We use the hobby as kind of an escape from life in a way. And so while you're escaping life, I hope you all have lots of fun doing it. And don't forget, drink your cranberry juice. It is good for urinary tract health. And we'll see you hires next time.